One of the most common defenses of centralized power goes like this. The problem isn't the system, it's the people running it. If only better people were in charge. If only wiser planners held power. If only the right intentions guided the machine. In Chapter 10 of The Road to Serfdom, Hayek dismantles this hope. His argument is not cynical, it is structural. The illusion of good people and power. Hayek begins with a simple observation. Large-scale planning requires uniformity, obedience, speed, and suppression of dissent. But societies are diverse, people disagree, values conflict. So any system that demands a single plan must first reduce moral complexity, and that reduction has consequences. Why coercion becomes a requirement. In a free society, disagreement is normal, dissent is tolerated, and plural values coexist. In a planned society, disagreement becomes inefficiency, dissent becomes obstruction, plural values become a problem to be solved. At that point, coercion is no longer an accident, it is a functional necessity. Why the worst rise? Structural selection. This is Hayek's most disturbing insight. People who respect limits, hesitate to coerce, acknowledge uncertainty, and tolerate disagreement are bad at enforcing a total plan. The people who succeed are those who simplify reality, suppress opposition, divide society into friends and enemies, subordinate morality to the goal, not because they are uniquely evil, but because the system rewards them. Moral simplification and tribalism. Hayek notes that planners must appeal not to reason, but to collective emotion. Complex moral debate is slow. Tribal identity is fast. So planning regimes gravitate toward slogans, enemies, myths of unity, and appeals to destiny or survival. Hayek is careful here. He does not claim that all planners are villains. His warning is more tragic. Even well-intentioned people, once inside such a system, must either harden themselves or be replaced. The system does not require cruelty. It produces it. Now we are also doing another video series on Karl Popper, and there's a connection here. Where Popper warned against certainty, Hayek shows what certainty selects for. When outcomes are treated as known, opposition becomes immoral. When dissent becomes immoral, coercion becomes virtue. The worst rise, not because history is evil, but because systems reward those who stop questioning. Hayek is not describing a single ideology. He is describing a reoccurring pattern, one that appears whenever societies believe they must be rapidly reorganized according to a single plan. The details change, the structure does not. Example 1. Wartime planning. In wartime, governments often centralize power in the name of survival. Speed becomes essential, coordination becomes mandatory, disagreement becomes dangerous. Under these conditions, people who hesitate, who ask moral questions, who worry about unintended consequences are sidelined. Those who issue clear commands, simplify choices, and demand obedience rise, not because they are worse people, but because the system now rewards certainty over judgment. Example 2. Revolutionary transitions. The same pattern appears during revolutions. When a society declares that a new order must be built quickly, those who argue for restraint are labeled naive. Those who insist on unity, who identify enemies, who subordinate moral limits to the revolutionary goal, advance. Moderation becomes betrayal. Pluralism becomes weakness, and cruelty is reframed as tragic necessity. Example 3. Emergency technocracy. Hayek believed this dynamic did not end with totalitarian regimes. It reappears whenever leaders claim that complex systems are too fragile for ordinary democratic disagreement. That experts must manage outcomes, that dissent slows progress, that there is no alternative. At that point, politics is no longer about choice, it becomes administration. Across all these cases, the logic is the same. A crisis demands speed, speed demands unity, unity demands obedience, and obedience selects for those most willing to coerce. This is not about bad intentions, it is about structural selection. This is why Hayek's warning is so disturbing. The danger is not that evil people seize power, it is that certain systems filter for them. And once those systems are in motion, even decent people must harden themselves or step aside. Hayek's warning is not about personalities, it is about design. The question is not who should rule, the question is what kinds of people does this system elevate? And if a system reliably rewards those most willing to coerce, simplify, and silence, then the problem is not leadership failure, it is the logic of the system itself. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis useful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos on political philosophy, power, and freedom.